Hello, everyone. We're back with another episode of the Embracing Joy podcast, where we help high achieving professionals embrace more joy in their personal and professional lives. And I'm so excited for our special guest today, Dr. Olivia Ong, who's with us all the way from Australia. So please put any comments, questions you have in the chat. We have a very special guest, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. Okay, Dr. Olivia Ong, also known as the Heart Centered Doctor and Rehabilitation Physician, she's a TEDx speaker. She's an award winning coach who helps healthcare professionals recover from burnout and thrive again. After surviving a devastating spinal cord injury, Dr. Olivia transformed her personal healing journey into a powerful mission to teach the science and soul of self compassion, nervous system regulation, and emotional resilience. So it's such an honor to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Magda. Thank you.
hmm hmm Yeah, so with that being said, we start out our episodes with a short game. It's an improv game where
Yeah,
you say the first thing on your mind, and I say the first thing on my mind, and we see if we can match the word. So, say if I say, we happen to say umbrella, and you said tent, and then both of us were able to match the next word by connecting the two, say something like umbrella, something like that. So, not umbrella, but some like sand may connect the two. So,
okay.
so that's the game. You ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So on the count of three, say the first word on your mind. One, two, three. Beach.
Co- Coffee for me.
Coffee? Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I said so coffee and beach. Something that connects those two. You ready?
yeah.
Okay. One, two, three. Sunrise.
Starbucks. I said Starbucks. I can't
That's
believe I
okay.
said that.
That's okay.
I thought of Starbucks. I don't know why.
Hi, this is the first word on your mind. We have some nice ones today. So if you're listening, you can join in the fun, say
Yes.
thinking the first word that comes to your mind on the count of three. Okay, so we have Starbucks and sunrise. Three, one, two, three. Work. Going to work. Getting sunrise.
Friends for me. For me, it's
Friends.
friends.
Oh,
Friends.
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so something that connects work and friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Mm, Commute? I was thinking something about, like, carpool.
I'll say food.
Oh, food,
Food,
yeah,
food
food.
always connects everyone.
Oh, it does. Okay, so food and carpool. Maybe I'm getting too specific. So
Ooh,
when you get too specific, it gets a little harder.
yeah.
Okay, food and carpool. Fast food.
Yeah, I was thinking Uber Eats, but never
Uber
mind.
Eats. Oh, same. That counts. That counts. Okay, so we are just warming up, and now let's go into our main questions we have for Dr. Ong. So you've lived this life where you've lived through a altering spinal cord injury, and through that, you were able to emerge with more joy, clarity, and purpose. So, how did that experience kind of shape your understanding of joy and self compassion, especially in the face of such a physical and emotional pain that you went through?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Magda. I mean, in the early days, when I had the spinal cord injury when I was in hospital, I didn't feel that at all. In fact, I felt a lot of sadness, a lot of grief,
Mhm.
because I was only 28 when I had the car accident and the spinal cord injury. So I didn't feel that. It was only, I believe, 2 years after I had the injury, I actually traveled to United States. I traveled to San Diego. I
Mhm.
mean, what better place to recover from your spinal cord injury than San Diego?
Mhm.
Beautiful city. And I stayed in San Diego and Carlsbad for about 2 years.
Mhm.
And that really, initially, I thought I was just going to focus on just the physical recovery and just focus on that and not make any friends. But like there's something about the American culture. Everyone's so friendly,
Mhm.
just welcoming. And yeah, before I knew it, that I just opened my heart to strong friendships. Made a lot of strong friendships with other survivors with spinal cord injury. A lot of them
Mhm.
are US based, of course, because Project Walk Spinal Cord Injury Recovery is based in San Diego. So a lot of people will travel from other parts of America to attend the facility. And yeah, I think just through the connection and being in the spinal cord injury community just helped me open up. And when that happened, I started opening up my own heart and just being kinder to myself. That was because I was really ashamed at the big early stages because I was in a wheelchair. And I mean, I'm
Mhm.
still in the wheelchair, but I'm not ashamed anymore. But there was a
Mhm.
lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And because, what if I didn't, the accident didn't happen, I would be okay. And all these
Mhm.
things. But yeah, once I opened up my heart, as I've said, then I started to, yeah, just accept myself for who I am and then just loving myself. It was a beautiful experience, not just physically, because I did walk again in
You
Project
did
Walk.
walk.
I did walk again.
Oh, wow. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I went through a intensive training at Project Walk. It was like 5 hours every day, Monday to Friday, just gait training, and then walking, lots of exercises just to keep the spinal cord injury, I guess, we know the CPGs,
Mhm.
central pattern generators in the spinal cord going. And that's, I think, how I recovered my walking ability because I was an incomplete injury. So I think there was always that potential and possibility that I
Mhm.
would recover from the spinal cord injury in my own time. But yeah, it's the connection, the fact that I became kinder to myself that led me to discover what self-compassion truly is. It's
Mhm.
taking the action to be kinder to yourself. That's actually what self-compassion is. It's a
Mhm.
little bit different from empathy. Empathy is you can get a bit carried away or over identify with it, but compassion is prompts you to take action to look after yourself, basically.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, so I think it's through my healing experience in the US, interestingly, because I
Mhm.
know you're from the US, and I have
Mhm.
always a special place in my heart for America, like, yeah.
Mhm. Wow. So with, a lot of our listeners are high performing
Mm.
individuals, so they're kind of in high performance mode. What are some signs that their nervous system may start to be dysregulated? If you know, like what's a simple like heart-centered practice that they can possibly do to start regulating their nervous system?
Yeah, that's a good question. I get asked this particular question a lot when I
Mhm.
deliver burnout workshops. And I think it's really important, yeah, to check in with our nervous system on a day-to-day basis. I've done a lot of research in this particular area myself. And if we don't have that awareness where our nervous system state is at that point in time, we will never know, isn't it? Because maybe for some of us, being in that hyper arousal or that state of hypervigilance or just that state of on we call it sympathetic energy, just on the go. I think a lot of
Mhm.
surgeons, I mean, I'm not stereotyping, a lot of surgeons fall in this category where they have to, or else one wrong move, like someone could actually just die right on the operating table. So they have to be that way. But the thing is, we can't stay that way forever. We have to probably come to we call it, Dan Levine talks about it beautifully. There's this framework called window of tolerance where in the middle, there is a diagram to this. There in the middle is the window of tolerance where we tap into our ventral vagal energy of our vagus nerve, where we
Mhm.
feel quite calm, cool, collected, very peace like in that feeling of inner peace that's in the middle. But obviously, we cannot stay that way. It just doesn't make sense to. We're humans. We are not programmed to stay in that window of tolerance because we're not the Dalai Lama. We can't stay there forever. We're humans. So I think for us, we expect our nervous system to go through a bit of like oscillating pattern. It'll be like hyper arousal one moment, and then after that you get back to the window of tolerance, and then sometimes you can go the opposite where it's hyper arousal, where you just feel that's the dorsal vagal aspect of the vagus nerve where you just feel a bit numb, disconnected. That's where doom scrolling and social media comes in, buying too much stuff on Amazon Prime. Yeah,
Mhm.
guilty of that sometimes. But the important thing is to have some kind of practice to help our nervous system come back to baseline because we
Mhm.
cannot stay in a one state for a very long time. Let's say if you stay in the hypo-arousal state for a long time, that's where burnout comes in. That's because that sense of disconnection, depersonalization, you just feel like you have no purpose at all. That's
Mhm.
hypoarousal. And anxiety or high functioning anxiety in a lot of us high professional women falls under
Mhm.
the hyperarousal area. So a good practice, a good vagus nerve practice that I do every day will be the Wu practice. I teach this to my clients. It's a little bit can be a bit awkward to do it in public. I just do it in private, so I just make a Wu sound because
Mm.
that taps into the vagus nerve. And people do that when they meditate, and like monks, they chant and during prayers and things. It's a similar thing, but it's a practice that I do because you tap into the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve supplies the vocal cord, the diaphragm, and the chest muscles and everything.
Mhm.
And just doing that Wu exercise. It's a good way to create some kind of energetic force field around you, which helps. Because I think what can happen with, especially us women, is we sometimes, tend to have, poor boundaries, I'm afraid, because we just want to make the people around us happy or make our bosses happy or whatever. But setting an energetic field will be good in the sense that we don't let people come into our boundary.
Mhm.
And the people that we don't want to come into our boundaries, we just protect ourselves. We have this energetic, like it's force field, if you want to think about it. If we're visual people, you can see it that way. Or if you're
Mhm.
kinesthetic, you just feel some kind of force field protecting you. Or if you're a sound person or auditory person, you can feel like a sound wave thingy. Yeah, it's just a practice I do to protect my energy because just think about it, Magda, every day we deal with patients' families, colleagues, other staff members, and
Mhm.
probably some road rage on the road. Some people with very dysregulated nervous systems on the road, right?
Mhm. I
And
live in Miami, Florida, so the
oh
driving
goodness, yeah,
yeah.
lots of dysregulated nervous people with dysregulated nervous systems
Mhm.
on the road. And I think the word dysregulated nervous system means staying in one particular state way too long and resulting in health consequences. That's what I think.
Mm.
This term dysregulated nervous system, which I think gets thrown a lot, especially in social media with with lots of information bombardment out there. But essentially, that's what it means: just staying in one
Mhm.
state way too long and resulting in problems, health problems.
Mm. 'Cause we should be moving through the states.
Exactly, and it's normal to move through the states because we are humans. We're all wired like that.
Mhm.
But dysregulation comes in when we are in one state way too long,
Mm.
and yeah.
Yeah, so many of these high achieving women, high achieving professionals, they fear that if they slow down
Mm,
or if they show themselves compassion, that they'll lose their like competitive edge or their way they practice. How do you help them shift that mindset of knowing that it's okay to be self-compassionate?
mm,
And so that they can still thrive in their careers and be compassionate and they can slow down.
yeah. When that's actually quite a common, frequently asked question actually in my audience, because a lot of them have this perception that, self-compassion means that you're fluffy, you're weak. And
Mhm,
some people think it's I guess, a privilege. It's not something, it's like, or some of them even say, I don't have time for this, I'm too busy.
mhm, mhm,
But I will like the people who think this way to reconsider the fact that self-compassion is actually not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of inner resilience, inner strength.
mm,
Because just if we are kinder to ourselves, we show compassion to ourselves, we fill our own cup, then we're able to show compassion to others. Because I think that's how compassion fatigue also happens especially in our industry as well,
mhm,
Magda. And I'm sure in the high professional world, it's like that.
mhm, mhm. Some
Yeah.
people may not know what compassion fatigue is.
Yes.
Can you define it for our audience?
Yeah. I see this a lot in the caregiving role where you're just in this, I will say, one-sided exchange where you're just caring for the person, but you're not getting your own cup filled, or you're not even acknowledging your own, first of all, your own needs, and actually looking after yourself first. I think that can lead to compassion fatigue. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of healthcare workers are going through that at the moment because, first
Mhm,
of all, we went through COVID, the pandemic. That wasn't great, as we all know. And now we're all trying to recover from what happened in 2020. And the thing is, the aftermath is very real from the 2020 pandemic. Post COVID, lots of healthcare workers have long COVID symptoms, especially where I
Mhm.
come from. In
Mhm.
Melbourne, Australia, a lot of them have that. They have not just problems with fatigue, they have problems with blood pressure, heart rate, and mental health repercussions from all that. But I guess what I'm trying to say with compassion fatigue, in a simple way, that's what how I explain to people is just that you've run out of juice, basically, and your cup is empty, and that when your cup is empty, there's nothing else to give.
Mhm.
Essentially compassion fatigue,
Mhm.
and that leads to burnout. They're kind of different
Mhm.
in a way. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that you said when you are able to show yourself self-compassion and fill your cup, it's a strength rather than a weakness. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I think how are you going to show up for others if you don't show up for yourselves and look after yourself first, isn't it?
Mm.
And I think
Mhm.
a lot of high performing individuals, at least the ones I have spoken to or coached, are in a similar situation where they're always putting other people above themselves first,
Mhm.
and they are like at the bottom of the list.
Mhm.
And yeah, how can we thrive if we're at the bottom of our list? It's like, we can't. We just can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. So I'm gonna do so our wrap-up questions are who is a model for joy in your life, doctor?
I would say I have two. My kids are just like examples of pure joy. I think kids in this age, my daughter is 5 and my son's 10. They're at the age where they're the best mindfulness teachers. They are curious about things, always asking questions, beautiful, like really interesting questions. And every day is a new moment for them, just embracing joy in everything they do. I think kids will be the best role models, believe it or not. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, my kids at least. Yeah.
If you were cooking a metaphorical cake of joy, what were the top 3 ingredients?
Well, I love icing. I mean, this is coming from someone who's attended a lot of birthday parties with 2 kids. Icing, definitely vanilla icing, chocolate, yeah, the chocolate as the centerpiece, chocolate cake
Mhm.
with icing, and really good cream,
Oh,
really
yeah.
good cream, very good cream. We cannot
What
do cake without good cream.
what about if it was a metaphorical cake, meaning like,
Oh,
for
oh,
joy? Like your joy, what are your joy ingredients?
oh, my chocolate. I thought you meant literally cake.
It is a cake, but it's okay. It's okay.
All right, I got it. I got it. Metaphorically, you just said that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I will say that the chocolate bit of the cake will be self-compassion.
Okay.
The icing will be, I would say, maybe just self-awareness. It's the
Mhm,
top, I feel. And the
mhm.
cream will be self-appreciation, where once you eat the cream, you're like, oh, like, you start patting yourself on the back. You go, you
Sweet.
got this. This is awesome stuff. So I'll say, yeah, the cream will be self-appreciation, the chocolateness of the cake, self-compassion, and self-awareness is at the top. Because
Okay.
you just started the journey, isn't it? That's not
Yeah.
bad, you know? Like,
Okay. Great. So okay, audience, let's imagine if we no longer had to choose between ambition and inner peace. Imagine waking up with that energy from not adrenaline, but alignment and feeling safe in your own body and soft in your heart so that you can be strong in your purpose. That joy is possible and it can be part of your birthright, but it starts with self compassion, just like Dr. Olivia was talking about, and how she helps physicians find that in their journey as well. So you can find her on her website, which is Dr. Olivia, goodness, but Lee Ong. So Dr. Olivia, LEEONG.com. She's
mhm.
also on social media, Facebook, which Dr. Olivia Ong, author. And she's also on Instagram and LinkedIn at Dr. Olivia Ong. It's
Yeah,
been such a pleasure to have you. Do you have any
thank
closing statements for our audience today?
absolutely. I'll encourage all of you to live your love, shine your light, and be your own best friend. That's my parting words, I guess.
I love that. I love that. It's been such a pleasure. If you're watching, please share this with a friend or someone that may need to hear this. And if you're watching the replay, share it again as well. And it's been a pleasure to have this episode. So take care.
Right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.